Manchester.
Love bun. Love bun. Yeah.
We went to watch Kiss.
We did.
What an experience that was.
An experience. I've still not fully come to terms with it, or I don't really know. I think we're gonna
digest it.
Digest it here for you.
Yeah, I mean, we'll make a point of Kiss because for some reason Kiss always come up in the subject of these podcasts. Whatever we're talking about, could be talking about band merch, prices, gimmicks, whatever. But it's like the conversation will stay around to Kiss at some point.
And whether we like them or not, what does that tell you?
Job
done for Kiss, isn't
exactly.
it, really?
Yeah. Maybe that is why, you know.
You can't knock it, can you? You always refer to them, so they're clearly, even when you're not a massive fan, if you're referencing them all the time, you've
done something right, haven't they?
As far as they can in your brain, haven't they? It's amazing. Yeah, fair play.
So we were very kindly offered some tickets by a good friend of ours, runs an amazing festival, Stonedead.
He does, yeah.
I was going to say go and get a ticket for this year, but I don't think you can because I think it's just sold out.
No surprise there.
But check it out for in the future because it's a cracking day out. It's amazing. And he very kindly extended some tickets, extra tickets he had, and
because he knew we were big fans.
Because he knew. And so we took him up, a very last minute kind of thing. Went to watch him at the Manchester Arena, and
which for a start point. It's easy and miss as a venue, isn't it? For me, it's impressive. Yeah. It's amazing. If you've never been to a place that big before, it never. No matter how many times I've been, you can't fail but have your breath taken away when you walk out. Walk out onto the chair because we were seated onto where it's seated with your 25 quid beer, you can't help but be blown away by the sheer like capacity of it's like friggin' hell. It gets me every time.
It's like a Coliseum type thing, isn't it? You know, because it's really tall arena. I think it is. It's the biggest in the UK, and
it's massive. Yeah.
It is just it's staggering.
But they are notoriously difficult for some bands, aren't they? Some music, I don't know. The sound doesn't always work amazingly in there, does it? For whatever reason, I'm no expert, but some bands I've seen in there and it's been great sound, and some bands it's been absolutely shocking.
Well, this is the thing. I've seen.
This is the thing.
Well, should we start with positive things first? Actually, what's the? Well, you know, it's kind of our job to be critical. You know, so
tickets were free.
The tickets were, we had
a nice beer in a pub before we went in. That was nice.
We did. I'll start then. They were obviously the production was
mind blowing.
Yeah, I've never seen a band like inside anyway like that. It was just.
I was when the lights went down. Well, Skindred supported. They were great. They're always great, aren't they? Yeah. When the lights went down, I was like, "Oh, this is cool," and I love the kabuki, and then you
won the best.
You wanted the best. Good evening, Manchester. Yeah. Brilliant. You're like, "Whoa, wicked." And then the kabuki comes down, and their video wall is the biggest video wall you've ever seen, and it's used so well. It has like the neon lights around it, and it's just like, wow, that is fucking ace.
Yeah, it was. You know, the layout. I love the way the drum riser was on. Well, you know, because it lifts up, so it's on some sort of.
Of course, it does.
Mechanical scissor lift type thing, contraption.
It's a block at the back like that.
Yeah, pumping it. Yeah,
and the old jack.
and you know, that just everything's been thought out. There's not a wasted part of the stage. Even where there was, my favourite bit was the like the snake lizard thing at the side.
Oh yeah,
on Gene Simmons' side. It was like, what's that for? And then every now and again he'd go up to it, and then like steam would blast out of the lizard's mouth.
What the fuck?
Just over him, and he'd just stand there and just get blasted by this steam, and then carry on. You know, things like that. It's
brilliant. Brilliant, yeah. So much going on. I thought the explosions could have done with being a bit louder.
Yeah,
myself.
Our tour manager was there.
He's a big Kiss fan, isn't he?
Well, he's a big loud bang and flashing lights, fireworks fan. You know, so he went as a kind of a
much like a small child
to use him as a bit of a kind of a bit of a sort of a like a. What do you call it? Like a case study kind of thing, you know? He wanted to go and just get some ideas and.
Yeah, well, he's a fan. He loves all that, doesn't he? He's into production. He loves it, doesn't he?
And he wouldn't. Yeah, well, because the production was so extensive, every minute there was something happening.
Yeah, there wasn't. I bet there wasn't 10 seconds went by when there wasn't bomb going off or a flipping laser being fired somewhere or something. It was incredible.
Yeah, and they didn't save it all for a big... I mean, there was a big finale, but it wasn't like, oh, save that out. It was like from the off, bang, just using
Them
everything.
explosions were a bit big. They were a bit loud for me. I mean, the sound, I didn't think they fared right well in there for sound, to be quite honest with you. If we're going to be honest, I didn't think the sound was great for him. I really didn't. I thought his vocals were in and out a bit at the beginning. I couldn't really hear what he was singing. Then bloody explosions going off.
They were like way louder than the band, and it took like 20 seconds after those bangs to like almost like for your ears to recalibrate to the to
refocus.
You think the band's loud, and then they happen, and it's like, well, actually, the band's not loud at all because those are so much louder.
Yeah.
I think those were a little bit over. Maybe they work at outdoor festivals and whatever, but inside an arena, they're just ridiculous.
Yeah. They were
to the point where it was just annoying. I
don't know what it must sound like. I mean, we've done a bit of that. We have done a bit of that, haven't we? We've not done so much explosion stuff, but flames and stuff. We've done more of that. I don't know what it must be like for the guys on stage with them explosions. I mean, is it as loud or do they?
I don't know. Well,
we have our in-ears, don't we?
Well, so. It looked like they must have been on some sort of in-ears because I couldn't see any wedges.
By the end of it, them guys tour for a long time. By the end of it, they fucking enjoying the time off while I'm fucking recovering, like some sort of fucking home.
Well, yeah,
sunburn, them flames. Those flames. We were about halfway back and halfway up one side, and even I was like, oh, Jesus, put the shades on.
Staggeringly intense.
Hell,
those
bloody
flames.
Warm.
I think there were. Yeah, I mean the right positives. The show was amazing. They were very professional, very slick. It's no secret. I'm not a huge fan of the music really. So, and I never was. And to be blunt, that never changed that opinion. Going to see, it wasn't like, oh, I get it now. It was just.
I do like. For me, I don't want to sound like a wanker, but I'm going to. The songs, they've got like 5 or 6 amazing tracks, like 5 or 6 bangers, and you're like, love good, all that stuff, brilliant. But then there doesn't seem to be any middle ground for me. Then it's just like, there's just a lot of.
Well, the whole thing,
the rest of it's a bit cack.
Keep it simple, stupid. I know that's what Gene Simmons sort of always says, that the name Kiss, is what where he sort of, we base it around that. But like with half the songs I didn't know.
No, maybe that didn't help.
No, but I mean, but even when you know what's coming, it's going to be a chorus. It's just a hook. It's going to be the same thing repeated a few times, and then it'll be back to a verse again. And you knew you're like catchy. You could sing along, but other bands out there do the same thing. AC/DC, for example, they just do it 10 times better. There's just a groove and a kind of bluesy element that is completely not there in Kiss.
No, you're right. I've had that conversation with somebody. There's something unexplainably connectable to the AC/DC. It's I don't know. They've sort of aged more gracefully, and they've still got that. Their power and passion has always been their ally. They haven't dressed up. Well, I know Angus dresses up as a small boy, but there's no makeup and there's no hiding anything, is there? Brian Johnson was always that guy. And it's like, it translates that, doesn't it?
I think the thing that I couldn't put my finger on until like I saw them, was that they are like so of a time. They are so like, early 80s, absolute height of pomp and
over the top,
and now it's almost like a time capsule back to that, and I can completely see why then it was
But what I did notice, and I think a lot of it comes down to the fact, and you can't help it, but they're frigging in the 70s.
Yeah,
because you watch the video wall of when they were back in the day, when the big songs come on, and you see the energy and the legs apart and the fucking sweat and the blood and the draw the shirts off or whatever, and it's like, I'd love to have seen them.
That's
then.
it. Yeah.
But now they can't do that. That's just a fact, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe that's what's missing, the raw power.
Yeah, that's very good point. Yeah,
and they wear them outfits, man. How the hell do they do it in that? I don't know how Gene Simmons operates in that outfit.
Oh well, I mean,
fair fucks.
I'm a massive amount of respect for them and what they do. And we bumped into another good friend of ours, Neil. There after the gig, who's the world's biggest Kiss fan.
He is, yeah. The world's smallest, biggest Kiss fan.
And he basically has always gone on about them and their work ethic. And and he said that they do these meet and greets, VIP packages or whatever. But they do that, and they happen at like 3:00.
Yeah,
and they have different levels of package, so to speak. If you pay extra, you get to see their packages, and they basically have to be in makeup from like mid-afternoon, which they stay in till midnight or 11:00, whenever the gig finishes.
And then they have to start packing the gear down.
Yeah, Gene will be loading the van, driving to the next gig,
putting his big hissing snake in the back of the van.
Yeah, well,
and that thing on stage,
and that, yeah, and that prop, yeah.
Oh, fucking walking out.
And so they're basically they're working bloody hard, and they're in the 70s. They don't need to be doing that, and they kind of. They've obviously got the ethic that we're out there working. Let's work. They don't sit in their bloody hotel all day. And
no. They're grinding, aren't they? They're grafting.
And you look at the pictures of them all, and they're all giving it. The tongue out and all that, big licks. They obviously know what this means to people.
They're passionate and they're hard working, aren't they? And they're all right. Age isn't on their side, but they're still.
You got to respect it.
You got to respect
You've got to respect it. And the show they put on. I can't imagine what it costs. They could slim that down and still be, and it still be a big show.
Yeah.
But it's almost like they still throw the kitchen sink in.
It's amazing how you walk into that venue and you immediately. I sit down and think, this is a big place. This is going to be intriguing. I can't wait to see how they're going to possibly fill that stage and blow my mind.
Yeah.
And they did. Because they had the big statues up, don't they? Yeah. Right, they're in the dark. You can't really see them, can you? Unless you look for them and notice them. They're in these four huge statues off the side of the stage. Huge, big video wall screens at either side. And when they're walking down the corridor, I don't want to ruin it for you if you haven't seen them. But it's too late because this is their final tour, apparently. They walk towards the camera, don't they? Have a camera guy. Yeah. I love that. I love that.
I might ruin this for you, mate. I'm pretty sure that's a pre-recorded thing that they just show before every gig. I'd imagine.
All right, I don't know. I thought because they had a camera guy. There's a lot of camera guys about in there on stage, like on the stage. I didn't know if they'd have one.
Are you on about the video when they're walking down like the corridors backstage?
Although now you mention it, I did cross my mind when I saw that. And then 2 seconds later, they're on the top of the fucking thing. I thought, mate, they got them ladders fast.
That's a bit of a giveaway.
You're joking, are you?
I was going to say, I don't want to ruin it for you.
Hoodwinked. You've ruined it.
Yeah.
I didn't see any reason why it wouldn't be. Why it would be pre-recorded, but now you mention it, I suppose it would be, wouldn't it?
Well, I mean, it just makes sense, doesn't it? But
I feel a bit stupid. No?
Well, no, they're just. It's a spectacle. It's a spectacle. However, I just can't get around the fact that I just don't think the music's all that. If undeniably some banging hits. Lick It Up is, that's great. That's for me. That's as good as they get.
Yeah,
everything about it. I even liked some of the 80s stuff, like the stuff that no real Kiss fan probably likes. The Crazy Nights and all that.
Yeah. Well, I'm a
great tune.
I'm a fan on the sideline, and that's the stuff I know, I suppose.
Yeah. But I was made for loving you.
Great song. But yeah, I find them. The thing I didn't like about them was I likened them to like a lot of American cinema, where they won't trust you to use your imagination or your emotion.
No.
They have to fill every ounce of every brain cell in your head with what they want you to think. There's no room for imagination, and I find that a bit tedious. And it's like. It's over the top.
Well, it's
too much.
2-hour gig as well, so it's a long show.
You watch AC/DC, and it's 5 blokes who could quite easily be paying in a pub if somehow managed to make it on stage, this level. And all right, they have the gimmicks, but there's something about it. It's not just quite as over the top, is it?
I think it was a little bit. Paul Stanley, being the front man, and I know they all did a bit of singing.
Drummer.
Yeah, Eric Singer. Yeah, he's
fucking hell,
fantastic singer.
Great.
And
liked him.
And basically, like Paul Stanley, I know he suffered with his voice a bit, and like he's an old bloody guy, fit as a fiddle. Like
he sounded great.
He sounded good. It didn't sound as bad as I thought he would, but his in between song stuff was like maybe it's the character and maybe I'm not familiar with it, but it was so insincere. Do you know what I mean? And it was almost like offensively kind of patronising.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, yeah. We'll remember you forever, Manchester.
Yeah, and maybe that's the character.
Fucking liar.
And I'm sure if you've been to see him, it's all funny and it's all like that.
The guy next door, no, he's not there now. The guy next door was absolutely fucking rolling.
He was, wasn't he?
Yeah. He was laughing his frigging head off. He was,
and he was a Kiss fan, obviously.
He was, yeah, he was. But he loved it.
Stanley's. So maybe that's part of it, and I don't take it. They can't possibly take what they do that seriously. Do you know what I mean? They take doing it seriously. It's not a joke to them, but the whole image thing is so overblown and so over the top and so cartoonish that they can't seriously.
That's what it's like. This is like a cartoon, isn't it? A scripted cartoon.
Yeah. But that's what
That's
that is the role they play. You want to go and see something that you do not see every day. So.
Well, they're not. Well, one thing they've got going for them, if you like it, there's nobody else like it.
No,
there's nobody else. Whatever it is they do, good or bad, there is nobody else does it, and that's a hard thing to be, isn't it? To be unique, and they are pretty fucking unique, really, aren't they? In that sense.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Can't.
But I'm glad we went. It was, if indeed it is their last ever farewell, another ongoing gag. But I'm glad we went, and it was.
They must be like coming. I mean, what they're doing is not easy. It's a long show, and
it was.
I mean, it's as physical as I imagine it can be for a bunch of bloody 70-year-olds.
Yeah. That was this.
Oh God, the tongue!
Well, put your tongue away, Gene.
Put your tongue.
I don't mind a bit of that, but it was like every 5 seconds.
Well, I had to laugh at because they had a camera, like they must have been like Gene Cam, so that every time there were certain songs where they were playing, and then if there was no video on the back wall of like an old footage or a big giant dragon or whatever, it would be. Just live shots of them playing as they were on stage. And every time it cut to like Gene's camera, he was staring at the camera going, doing that tongue thing. And he must have just spent the whole, the entirety of some songs staring at the camera with his tongue out.
He's ready for it. The consummate professionals, aren't they?
Ready for it.
He's fucking waiting for get that fucking camera on me, boy.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's people in the audience just recoiling in horror, going "Fucking hell, Gene."
I had to laugh. There was a bit. It's like the worst bass solo. I've ever seen. There's no time for a bass solo, in my opinion, unless you're bloody Jaco Pastorius or something. Phil Lynott might have got away with it, but he's too cool for that shit. But anyway, Gene's got to have his moment, and he stands on this thing, which fair play to the guy. It rises right to the top of the arena. It stands on this platform. It's got no barrier, and apparently clips on to
I don't really understand it. I don't really understand.
You know what I'm on about?
Yeah, before you get to what you're going to say, the more I thought about it, I don't really understand what that's for. It just fucking raises him up and puts him down. It doesn't shoot him out, or if it had gone up really fast, it might have been funny. But it's just like,
but as he's been raised up, he's obviously got a blood capsule, something in his mouth, like the movie props or whatever. And he bites it, and then he's doing all this tongue stuff. While he's not really playing bass notes, he's just sort of hitting his bass guitar, and then pulling faces, and just looking around and pulling faces.
But it was sort of going.
That was
as if he's locked in a fucking room and there's people banging at walls. On it, he was like, "What is that? What are you doing?"
I'm not. Well, we are making fun. We are making fun of a 70-year-old man here who's got more money than I'll ever have. So who's got the last laugh here? But I didn't quite get moments like that. It's there's. It could have been cooler. He could have done something really cool. But it's almost like they make an effort to go, let's make it
corny,
and a bit naff.
Yeah,
in the midst of all this, absolute circus of pyro that's going on.
Yeah.
I'll stand there with a I don't know. I just don't know what to think. You're just assaulted with
bizarre
images and sound.
And do you know what I think? I can only put that down to. I can put that kind of thing down to it being something they did back in the day, and he's known for doing that. That's his thing.
Maybe.
You know, back in the 70s when there was no pyro, that was his thing. He had the blood capsule and he could fucking pretend to turn into a monster and then bite this capsule. And never he's just something that's been part of the show
that's it,
for years. And now he just looks like a mad old man with somebody just pulled his tooth out.
Yeah, he's
bitten his tongue, eating his fucking Werther's Originals.
Eating a sour prune.
Fucking brilliant.
It's and anyway, yeah. So he raised up. You know, there's just a few moments. I mean, Paul Stanley had his bit where he gets on like the rope swing thing, and it swings him out. You know, that's great. You know,
well, that into Love Gun was like. That was great. That when he landed on the platform, and then they fire into that song, and that's the right song to do that. You know, it's brilliant.
Yeah, it was. It was just. Yeah, there's a lot of moments to unpick, but I also maybe this is harsh. Maybe they've had to rely on that over the years because the music has been so
sporadic.
Well, just
up and down.
Well, just like that. You know what I mean? They got the hits, but they're basically padding the show out before your Love Gun happens again.
Yeah.
Before you know, I Was Made for Loving You, and
I mean, like I said, I thought there was like 5 or 6.
God Gave Rock and Roll to You,
big sing-alongs, and then the rest I thought was just a bit weak, really, song-wise. But I tell you what, Matey Boy blew me away. That Tommy Thayer.
Yeah, he's good.
What a guitar player. I've checked some stuff out actually online, like Gibson YouTube channel, and there's like him talking about his guitar and his childhood and all that. It's fucking hell, what a nice guy. Top bloke he is. I thought he absolutely was one of the best things about that band.
He was very good. To be honest, the whole I think it's obviously characters they play. You know, they're not like this. They're not. I mean, Paul Stanley, I've watched interviews with Paul Stanley, and he's not talking like, you know, talking
Good
like
evening.
that. Yeah. I'll never forget this interview. It's characters, you know, and that, you know, I have to just keep reminding myself of that, you know. And I am like jumping onto the Kiss thing so late in the day, you know. It's
well, it's halfway through the career, isn't it? So.
Yeah, they've only got 20 years left, so.
Oh, I love it. I love the banter though. We have loads of mates who are big Kiss fans, like Neil and Gary and Gary Mays and a few other people. Just love having banter.
Steenie loves Kiss, doesn't he?
Steenie, and it kind of comes with the territory, a bit like Maiden and Rookie. Like they give us stick about stuff, and we give them stick about Kiss, and we have a bit of josh and a bit of banter about it. It's funny.
But it always boils down to like they don't really have an argument. It's just like, I like it, you know,
it's enjoyable,
which is fine. You know, why not? Why not?
There's not a lot. There's a lot more to enjoy than not enjoy. We're being super critical, aren't we? Just because we're here talking about this, but it was good. It was good. Fair play to them. They've left a mark on the world, haven't they? And made a lot of people happy over the years. It's an amazing achievement, really. I've
learned, you know, try to learn from every experience. You know, try to learn from every experience, man. But you know, take what could take away from watching that show wise. You know, I'd like to think I learned a little bit of.
You're going to get some fireworks out the end of your guitar, right?
Oh, that was great. I love that.
When he fires it and then the thing explodes and the screen goes off, and then he does another one.
Yeah, that was cool. I mean, the power.
Playing the solo and doing that.
Did a riff and then
What impressed me most about the whole thing was the mind-boggling organisation and practice that must have had to go into it. Where those guys
had to be,
the briefings and everything, where they have to be, what explosions are going off where, and all that stuff you have to remember because it's serious fucking shit. All them fucking pyro and explosions.
Yeah, well, Gene was he had some pyro on his guitar at one point fairly early on. I can't remember what it was, but he had a flame because I know the guy came up with a blanket. I saw, that was it. Didn't need training for all that, you know, in licenses and that.
You could set your wig on fire.
Yeah, all that hairspray.
Exactly.
Yeah, the jet black hair. You know, I don't know. Fair play. But I'm, you know, would you go again?
No. It's of an era, isn't it? It's of an era. I mean, you tend to find, it's funny, I was talking to Shane, the guy who does my tattoo, yesterday about Kiss, and he's a more of a Maiden fan. But he hates AC/DC. He's, I can't stand AC/DC. And it's funny when you get these gigantic bands like that, Everybody has their one favourite.
Yeah.
You know, they're often in which corner are you in? We're not massive Maiden or Kiss fans, are we? We're more DC fans, but other people I know can't stand AC/DC. They're massive Maiden fans or Kiss or... Do you know what I mean?
Those people are called weirdos.
Yeah. Those people have no taste. But yeah, no, it was amazing. I might go again. I might. If it were free. I don't know. It was good. I'm so glad we went, and it was a spectacle. And you see, they were the legends, aren't they? And I'm glad I got to see them. To be honest, it was a good experience. But you raised a great point: is that the mate boy is slowly turning into a cat.
Eric Singer.
He is, isn't he?
Yeah.
He is. I'm sure as that show got, he's like his face.
Yeah.
And it was quite creepy. He comes out the stage on that piano, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
And it's like, does he think he is a cat?
Yeah.
He looks like one, doesn't he?
Come off stage with a saucer of milk. That's on his rider.
He's like, they get him off stage with like a stick with a bell on. Ding, 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 ding.
Go and get your tin of tuna.
He's off.
And he's after they're licking his ass when they do that. Got his leg in the air, you know that.
He was a great singer though. I was blown away at his voice when he did that song. I didn't mind that song either. That was quite a good song.
That was
a simple song. Went on the piano, but he was what a guy he is. What a voice. And he was a great drummer as well, like you were saying.
Didn't hit hard, did he? But it was just right.
Spot on. He knows what he's doing.
I liked his drum solo actually. It wasn't long. What was he doing? He was
great.
He was like doing double kick. He was just going like that, and he had a towel, and he was like wiping his face and just like checking his watch, and then he'd stop and point at one side of the audience, and they'd go way, and then he'd do it again, and he'd have a drink, with his thing, and then he'd go way. That was cool, and then they just fired into another song.
That's funny. Yeah.
I like that. That was good.
It was funny.
I think he has a kind of more subtle kind of humour about him. I don't know. There's some of the things he did, and
yeah, I think so.
Whereas Gene...
He's not as flamboyant, is he, or over the top?
No.
I thought him and Tommy Faye were both very similar characters, really. But they were a bit more in the background and a bit more meat and potatoes, weren't they? And obviously Gene and Paul Stanley are the showmen, aren't they?
Just absolutely. Well, yeah, they're the absolute... yeah.
I'm coming to see you! Yeah. Fucking, what's my name?
He did a bit earlier on where he was trying to do these vocal gymnastics. He was sort of doing some... oohs or whatever, and it was just like, oh, what are you doing, Paul? It's like they've not dropped anything like Gene's little mad moment where he's raising up, and doing all the panting stuff. It's like, come on, guys. You're not.
We can sort this out for you so that it sounds better.
Yeah.
No way, man. We're keeping it in the same key.
Doing
we
it.
can drop a key, Paul. There's no shame in it, Paul. No shame. No, man. It's been 1975 for the last 40 years.
Yeah. And you know what, as well, like another point, I think I might have mentioned a few times, I'm a massive Rush fan, huge Rush fan, and Kiss and Rush toured a lot in the 70s together.
They?
Yeah, Rush supported Kiss a lot, and
right, wow, really?
And both bands have like nothing but great things to say about each other, and you couldn't probably get more two musically different bands. I mean, back then Rush were a lot more kind of meat and potatoes, but they basically say that they got their work ethic and a lot of how to deal with people from Kiss, because they've always been just the show's the show, and that nothing got in the way with that. When it was time to party and
yeah, right. That's amazing.
By proxy, I've kind of taken on board that respect for Kiss as well, because and likewise Kiss say like nice things about them,
Oh, I didn't know that.
Say they were a bunch of boring bastards. Never did anything because they were all like married with kids. Because they are boring bastards. Yeah. But that's cool. And you don't really get, for whatever else Gene Simmons really is. People don't really have many bad things to say about him.
They don't. He knows what he's doing. He is a master, isn't he? He says the things at the right time, and it catapults him into the limelight
again.
Whether you agree with him or not, he's just laughing into his sleeve, going, yeah. He just says the right things.
Yeah.
He gets people going, doesn't he? And that's what it's all about. No publicity is bad publicity. Well, some publicity is bad publicity. We won't go there.
Yeah.
Maybe not these days, fuck me. But anyway, 10 seconds left. It's been... please don't shoot us down in flames. We'll give it 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10.